For more on tomorrow's summit, we bring in Russia expert Masha Gessen, staff writer for The New Yorker and author of 12 books, including Surviving Autocracy, which is now available in paperback. Thank you so much for joining us, Masha.
Thank you for having me.
Walk us through what President Biden could accomplish when he meets with President Vladimir Putin.
I don't know that we need to set our sights on accomplishments. I think that this is an important event. I think it may be more important for Vladimir Putin than it is for Joe Biden. It is incredibly important for Putin to show that he's taken seriously, that he's still a world player, that he can still get a summit, that he will speak to Biden before Biden speaks to the president of Ukraine, who is bitterly disappointed in this particular order of things. So these are all significant accomplishments for Russia going in.
I was just going to ask on the flip side, though, what you think President Biden has at stake as well.
Well, Russian-American relations are at an all-time low. I think that it would be foolhardy to suggest that they could improve. And Biden is faced with an incredibly difficult challenge, right? He is a good faith, legitimate president speaking to an illegitimate leader of another country who is a bad faith actor. That's a losing proposition. He could do worse, he could do better, but I don't think he could really do well in this kind of setup.
If you were advising President Biden and could even script the words for him, what would you advise him to say?
There are a couple of things I would advise him not to say. The main thing is I would advise him not to follow the American tradition of speaking to problematic state leaders by threatening them with sanctions. And the reason I say that is not because sanctions are inappropriate. Sanctions are extremely appropriate and extremely necessary. I say this because the way we usually talk about sanctions and the way presidents talk about sanctions is, if you do that, we're going to do this. But we already know what Putin is going to do. He's been in power for nearly 22 years. For 22 years, he's been killing his opponents. For 22 years, he has been cracking down politically. He has been a menace to freedom and a murderer, right? And so we know this. There's no need to say, if you do this, if you don't get any better, we're going to do this. Sanctions need to go into place now. And there's a particular set of sanctions that Putin is particularly concerned about, that I think Biden has taken a weak position on. It's been incredibly disappointing, which is Nord Stream 2. It's a pipeline that will solidify Europe's energy dependence on Russia and will be a financial lifeline to Russia. The United States used to have a tougher position on Nord Stream 2. Biden has walked it back in recent weeks. And I think that's it's a wrong decision, and it's kind of handing Putin a huge victory and kind of a dose of support.
Am I reading you right that you're not particularly optimistic that there is a best case scenario outcome in this meeting?
I think this is a harm reduction proposition. We're dealing with a very dangerous leader, very dangerous to his own people and very dangerous to the world stage. And I think Biden's ultimate goal is to try to reduce the harm that Vladimir Putin can cause the world.
Biden plans to address Russia-based cyber attacks and Russia's election interference. Is there any hope that these can be stopped?
I think there's hope that they can be stemmed if the United States basically responds in kind. And there have been indications that the U.S. may be ready to do that. That's escalation. It's not anybody's best case scenario, but it may be the best line of defense for the United States. What I think would be the worst line of defense, and this is also something that is possibly a subject of conversation, and that is the United States entering into an extradition agreement with Russia, where in exchange for indicted cyber criminals or suspected cyber criminals who have been indicted in the United States, and there are a couple of dozen of these outstanding indictments now, in exchange for extraditing those, the United States would agree to extradite people that Russia pinpoints as having committed crimes against Russia. When Biden indicated 2 days ago that there's a possibility that this will be discussed, the hundreds, literally hundreds of Russian dissidents who live in exile just collectively gasped. That is an incredibly dangerous and just ill-conceived proposition, because we know what Russia means when it says that it wants to get its hands on people who have committed crimes against Russia.
Masha Gessen, we thank you so much for your insight. Surviving Autocracy is available in paperback wherever books are sold.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.